Oh my god.
Shayna's like, I just awoke from the dead. It does feel like we are awaking from the dead because we haven't gone live for what now, 2 weeks? Has it been 2 or 3?
It's been two because somebody didn't want to talk about just Pearson last week.
Yeah, and somebody had a
Yeah.
dissertation defense and Dragon Con coming up, and or was coming up as of last week. It has passed as of this week. I've had a crazy last week, 10 days. A lot has happened. And
Whew, girl.
yeah, we did not have an after show last week.
Yeah.
So, we just got done with Dragon Con this past weekend, which was really fun. Prior to that, I defended my dissertation last week, which is really exciting. But what we're really here to talk about, what's most important, is tonight's episode of Suits and Pearson. We are now off by one episode. We are on episode 7 of Suits, but on episode 8 of Pearson because Suits took a week off and Pearson did not. And Shayna, they had the pilot of Suits airing last week. Is that right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they did it. And they had like cute little, interview reality TV style segment type talking to the cast. Only positive, not drama. Which I mean, I'm here for the drama too. But yeah, they had like those little kind of confessionals about some stuff. Sarah cried about the fans, which like same, sweetie. I cry about you too. Um, I too cry about the fans actually. But yeah, they had stuff like that and some, here's some of the best blah blah blah, and here's what it was like filming the pilot, and yada yada. So it was bittersweet.
Oh, well, that sounds really awesome. I know I saw a few clips going around from last week's episode. The behind the scenes cast clips, and I did watch
Hmm.
after the fact last week's episode of Pearson. But we are now here to chat about tonight's episode of Suits and Pearson, and let's just jump right into that. Shayna, how would you rate tonight's episode of Suits, coming back off of a kind of a hiatus of Suits? And then also, how would you rate tonight's episode of Pearson going into the final 2 episodes of season 1 of Pearson? That has flown by for me.
Um, I rate Suits all the paintings. Um, that's a number, I promise. Pearson was really good too. It's the last three or four, three, four, four. This is pretty new. The back 4 episodes are really, really, really strong. So I'm trying to remember where this one fits. The last two, definitely a four, 4.5. Can't remember if it's a 5 comparatively or not.
Yeah, I would say the Pearson episode ranked pretty high for me
Mhm.
um, because I really enjoyed getting to see Carrie and the mayor's wife interact and all of the sort of moral ambiguity of that in contrast with Jessica Pearson, God herself, kind of being in this position where she is choosing to go above and beyond in doing good for her sister and her mother, and in some senses she's having to kind of interact with moral gray area there, but when you see the two storylines together it really puts them in perspective as to how um, I don't know. There's something so much more advanced on the moral pipeline about Jessica's decisions. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really happy. Not that it's going to change any of the minds that need to be changed because they're kind of beyond. But I'm happy that Pearson is telling um, Yoli's family story and really
Yeah.
presenting that um, in a real manner in terms of, what brought her mom here, um, what asylum actually is, not just illegal showing up. It's actually a legal thing. Um, And just, last week's episode, the way that the so-called lawyer kind of took advantage of Yoli and just took her money and then wasn't there for her. I mean, these are real things that happen to real people and that are happening to a much greater and more deplorable sense right now. It's nice to see a show kind of give voice to it without, Yoli is not just like some poor whatever. She works for the mayor's office. You know, she is a important member of society, just like anybody else. Same with both of her parents. Same with, you know, whomever. They're they're not these moral lacking, uneducated whatever that people seem to think. Um,
It's such an
it's really nice
important
to see.
story to tell, and it fits in so well with some of the other sort of crisis pieces that Jessica's handling. Obviously, this season as a whole centers around this idea of the housing crisis, but that
Hmm.
also ties in well to each of some of these individual pieces that we're talking about in terms of families without places to stay or families in crisis overall. And then you obviously have that shot at the end of the episode of Jessica sitting there
Mm.
without her family around as well. And she's got a place to stay and she's got nobody
Hmm.
there. So I don't know. I do want to also touch on our rating for Suits. We have Summer in the chat saying she rates the Suits episode 3,000. Now, I know you felt pretty strongly about tonight's episode of Suits as well. What is standing out to you? I know you didn't just watch the episode, you had watched it prior, but having, I guess, rewatched it, what pieces are standing out to you there and still getting you excited days later?
No, actually, I didn't post it till this afternoon, which like really messing with my life, guys. But I did earlier, so hours later, really. I just, you know, this was supposed to be about Sam, but it was really all about Harvey. This is what he looks like outside of the office. This is him being super carefree and like, oh, let's get burgers and, prank calling Lewis and just really kind of stepping up for somebody else and not just stepping up, but really being a listening ear, offering really sound advice, offering kind of an unprecedented level of empathy, opening up about his own life and how, oh, yeah, by the way, my mom fucked me up. And now, I spent 84 years being in love with Donna and not being able to access it, which I think access was the perfect word. And then, of course, I mean, for me, having a particular favorite episode that centers around a particular favorite piece, and then just this saga that's been on, and the way that it always seems to come back up at the most important moments. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Seeing Donna going, doing what she had to do with connections to get that painting back for Harvey was. I mean, I was like, the fangirls, myself being one of them, but the fandom on Twitter kind of was hoping that's what the moment was about, with him looking at something and being like 7,000 kinds of emotional and Donna being there. But you never really believe in a million years that you'll actually get that moment. And then to actually see it, I mean, the second she pulled that painting out from behind the couch or whatever, like, I was a complete wreck just through the end of the scene because it's such a big thing to come back to.
Mm-hmm. I think
Um,
they're kind of at a place in the plot line, right? For Harvey and Donna, for Harvey, for Donna, separately and together in the season, where we're going to start building up to big moments. And Suits, to their credit, does not always save their big season end moments for the actual finale. Often, the actual finale is kind of a resolution of a bunch of chaotic big moments that have happened in the final couple episodes. So, we're kind of due for a big moment. We always, in past seasons, would joke about episode 15, so right before the end, kind of being usually a big moment for personal character development, usually romantic pieces. And really, it's kind of 14 and 15 that have historically been that. So in the shrunken season, we're right around that zone, right? We're right around that zone where big things are going to happen. But while you've got a lot of us, and by us, I mean me and other crazy people like me, speculating that Harvey and Donna are going to be pregnant by the end of the season, or Donna will be pregnant with Harvey's child, or they're getting married by the end of the season, and or they're getting officially engaged by the end of the season. You know, like you can see, I'm dropping the bar every time, Shana. Anyways, any of those things. By the end of the season, it was nice to see that I won't say it's their first big moment, but one of the big moments that we can recognize as like a classic near finale emotional whatever step was something unique. It was unique to their story. This painting that and everything surrounding it is deeply emotional, but it has a story that's unique to them. Not to devalue the baby reveals and the engagements and the weddings, because I want all of that for them as well. But those are pieces that will go in anybody's story. This painting piece, especially the narrative surrounding it regarding a forgery, and it's very art heisty. That's so Donna. Even just the little pieces wrapping up this last bit that, you know, she got his mother's painting from, all of that back. It's every little piece of that story was quintessentially them.
Sorry.
I couldn't tell if you were in pain at the painting storyline and the emotion surrounding it, or if you were yawning. I believe that was a yawn.
It is both.
It's contagious now. I'm exhausted. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where we are in the season, because I do want to give us a chance to really think about what we want in these last couple episodes. What do you want in these last couple episodes? The last 3 episodes of Suits, what still needs to be wrapped up? What have they not given you other than Harvey's painting back?
A can opener.
I don't know why I would have expected anything else.
And, you know, it'd actually be nice to know what the hell they did with it, but it's also nice having it.
They're not going to tell us.
They're never going to tell us. I know. They're never. I'm trying to think. I mean, they brought so many people back that I don't even know. Jessica wouldn't make sense based on where she is and her storyline with her show. I would like to see Donna and Lily like together in person and not just the phone call. That would be cool.
I'm not sure we'll get that. For some reason, I feel like that's not going to happen.
Well, too bad. I mean,
okay.
You know,
I would like it too. I'm just saying I feel
to.
like we're going to end the season in the Suits office with the key Suits players. Like, okay, so think back to Mike and Rachel's send off. We ended their storyline outside of the office with lots of players who weren't key players, you know, the family and so on, brought in for them. And that was their send off. I feel like for the remaining characters' send off, it's going to happen in and around the office with office people. Not that that's what I want, I just think that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I'd like to see Lewis like grow the hell up for once. But I don't think that's going to happen either. I really don't.
I'm wondering, so obviously Sheila hasn't given birth yet. Do you feel like that's going to be a finale piece?
Do what?
Do you feel like the
I didn't
Sheila giving birth piece is going to be a finale piece, like the final moment?
Oh my god, that would be actually the worst possible ending. Because she's so tangential to the real story, and like a lot of people, a lot of me don't like her. So I mean, I hope
I,
not. I
for
don't even
one,
want
do
that in the
not like
finale.
Sheila, and I feel like I like
Yeah.
every woman on the show. I think the actress who plays her is fantastic. I think they've really tried their best. Like, she has definitely done her best work with it, and I think she's incredible. And I think with the writing, they're really trying to bring her up, but her her writing as of last season, that was just atrocious.
I mean, do you remember how she was like a huge part in Mike going to jail?
Oh, I don't mind that.
I do.
I didn't mind her being a part of Mike going to jail. I know
I
it puts
do.
her as something of an anti-hero or a foil or whatever in the study. In this study, in this show, I think my issue with her has really been how she's treated Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's been a few pieces where it's kind of crossed the line where I'm like, you're really gonna make me defend a man in this economy? Do I have like I have to? Ugh, so that's unfortunate.
No, but I mean, that's part of the problem though, because Lewis was begging her, and the fact that she did that against Lewis's firm and Lewis's home and Lewis's people without even knowing or caring what it would do to Lewis, whether or not he knew. Like, sorry, I just rewatched all of that for a thing, and I had shut that out because I like to forget everything Sheila does, and I'm mad all over again. You know, she
I can cheer
ugh,
you up. In the promo for
okay.
next week, we saw Sam and Katrina teaming up. What did you think of that?
I will say that a comment I made to Lizzie when she had already finished the episode today, and I was watching it, and I had to yell at somebody. So Lizzie, since she also has access, I had said, "There's no way Sam would pick a beard that horrible as Caldor. So whatever, whoever decided to put that in is crazy because Sam deserves all the good things in life, including women,
Fair?
and not Caldor. Not even for a show pony. Not even to try to prove a point. No.
Yeah. I think when we see earlier, younger versions of Sam, she's always in survival mode anyways. It wasn't like a true romance for her. I don't think we
Mm.
have any time this season for any additional romance, don't get me wrong. But I am enjoying Sam and Katrina's friendship, and if this show would like to continue its little thing of slow burning and having, little hints at relationships that never really happen, I think Sam and Katrina are good candidates for that and are far more interesting than Lewis and Sheila.
Like Harvey and a bag of M&Ms is more interesting than Lewis and Sheila. I guess that's not surprising coming from me though.
Yeah, those are
Alex
two
and
things that you
Lewis
like very much.
bowling was more interesting than Lewis and Sheila. Um, Lewis and Harold Gunderson is more
I
interesting than Lewis
love
and
that they
Sheila.
brought Harold back and had him interact with Lewis. I always thought Harold was hilarious. And you know who always had such a funny dynamic with Harold? Was Rachel.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
rest
loved
in
their
peace,
scenes.
Rachel.
I thought they were hilarious. She walked all over him. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we are almost out of time, but we have not gotten to what you would like to see for Pearson in the final couple episodes. I know both you and I would love to see Miss Jessica Pearson become mayor of the entire city of Chicago. But in terms of the stories that are going on in Pearson, what would you like to see them wrap up with?
Um, I would like to see them wrap up how they wrapped up. Um, Jessica is queen of the world.
Yes.
I can tell you that.
Hmm.
I would like that if somebody acknowledged it. I will say, given that Pearson is ending a week before Suits, um, it is completely appropriate and will not at all increase the emotional turmoil should anyone or anything Suits related happen to get a reference.
I loved seeing Lewis and Jessica's conversation on tonight's episode of Pearson. I am hoping that that continues, just tiny little mentions, tiny little phone calls, and I would like for Donna to be involved in that on Pearson. Other than that, what I would really like for them is to set up well and boldly for season two, because I really think that a 10 episode run for season two, similar to their 10 episode run for season one, would be perfect for them. I would like them to. I'd like to see Jessica Pearson's family dynamic, the trajectory, the road they're going to be going on start to become defined. Because so
Mm.
far, I've attached to the family, I love them, I'm there for it, but it's been about how are they and Jessica going to mesh. I would like to see sort of a path forward for what they're going to take on. Hmm. I
That's
think I'm ready
valid.
for the affair storyline to be over.
Oh my God, right? Like, I don't care. I don't. Jessica and Nick are far more, I think, need to be explored. I will say that. Um, and that, like, overall, like, it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sorry, Jeff.
Well, I have kept us a couple minutes overtime, but it was worth it because we didn't have an episode last week to talk through. Well, we had one of two episodes last week to talk through, and we didn't talk through it. So it was nice to be able to chat about it. And if you have any more thoughts or questions or comments, Shana and my information is in the description down below. Yes, I'm in a Wonder Woman bathrobe. No, I'm not going to do anything about it. And I will talk to you guys next week, same time, same place. And at that point, we're going to have only one episode left of Pearson next time we talk. Isn't that crazy, Shayna?
It is. And I would recommend, like, I don't know if they did it this week, but I know Simon, I think his name is, has been doing Instagram lives on episode nights. And Gina did one last week. And I would say everybody rush over there after watching us, of course, each week because they are hilarious. Um, and we should be supporting them. And I wish if any of y'all are watching us just for Suits, seriously watch Pearson. That's the only way we're gonna get more of it. And Gina Torres deserves it. She deserves all the things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I can assure you, the finale, a very small two-sentence thing had me screaming. So you should get caught up so you can experience that.
I look forward to it.
Mm.
Well, we will be screaming about these shows same time, same place next week, Shayna. For now, thank you everyone for joining. Bye bye.